Let's get it on and popping over there in those TikTok streets as well. All right, all right, all right. We about to start Soulful Sunday. You know that I stream on two platforms. So I'm streaming live on TikTok and I'm also streaming live on YouTube. So I have my other device right here. Like my other device. Had to lift it up and show it to the people. Y'all want to say hi to me? No, I can't. I can't flip this camera around. We're going to leave this camera just right where it's at. So, if you're new here, let me mirror this video up here. I don't think I have that capability on YouTube. So I'm going to mirror the video. And yes, it's Sunday, people. It is Sunday. And when I tell you that I had a phenomenal, long, but phenomenal week. Long, phenomenal week. So I have been, and then we have a long weekend. And so I have taken the liberty to just be chillaxing as I do my work. So I'm still here because I'm here every Sunday for you guys, but I'm more chillaxed. You see, I got this is from Whoopi's store. This is from Whoopi Goldberg's store. She has a store down at the Oculus. The Oculus is World Trade Center. What is it called? Something Milk. It's on here somewhere, but anywho, you know, because I be circulating the coins. I be circulating the coins amongst us. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Anywho, we are still continuing to dive into Seed of the Soul. Again, this is relax. This is relax me in the house, okay? Now, this is what y'all gonna get today on the SupaTea podcast show for Soulful Sunday. So technically, it is not 3 p.m. yet. However, I'm just happy. I'm really happy. I'm really grateful. Yes, it was a long week, but it was it was a phenomenal week. And let's talk about how Honey Darling got all the way in her feelings. I mean, so much. So freaking much. I was just like, okay, what's going on? But I got over it, you know, and I definitely seen my growth. Um, and I'm grateful to have grown and to be at the mature level I am now. Yes, I laugh and I'm full of joy. However, I am aware and I do know that growth is something that is important. If you're just jumping into the Super Tea podcast for the very first time, it is Soulful Sundays. Every Sunday, I come on and I stream on two platforms. I stream on YouTube and I also stream on TikTok. And I dive into a book. And for the past, what chapter are we on? We are on chapter, we got to get to the juicy stuff. Woo-hoo! We are on chapter 13. So for the past 13 weeks, people, I have been coming on and streaming live. If you missed the live or you can't stay for the live for whatever reason, you can catch the stream on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel has all of my Soulful Sundays. That's where they are published at. If you can't be in here and hang out with me live on Sunday, you can still catch the episode at your convenience. So where we at? We got 2 minutes to showtime with the Super Tea Podcast Show. So I'm excited. And it's interesting how I do this. I don't work like other podcasters work. A lot of my work is very different in how I approach it. You know, I have dived into spirituality very deeply, metaphysics, consciousness, all of that. You know, so I'm aware of like I don't want to spook you out or trip you out, but I'm aware of our reality. I'm aware of different dimensions. I'm aware of a lot. So I'm not only aware of what's going on in our dimension, I'm also aware of other things, and it allows me to be a bit more efficient in the things that I do, where I don't have to put in a lot of time to be efficient and successful. For example, this podcast. I come in and I'm very raw with it. I'm not like premeditating, oh, how should I present this? I know that I am a vessel of the divine. So I don't need to say how. I need to just trust and surrender to the bigger part of me as I deliver and I be of service. And that's pretty much my approach to life. Now, the irony to that is that I am a thinker and I enjoy psychology. And so, even though I surrender to the divine and I allow the divine to work through me and for me to be the unique exemplification of divinity in all that I do, my brain is still ticking. I'm still analyzing. I'm still computing things in my mind. So that's the irony to the way I live my life. I'm still very much active. And it comes to my mentality, like, so A, B, and C, then it must be D, and 1, 2, and 3, then it must be this. But anywho, that's just giving some insight onto me, the person that is delivering this message to you. So it is now 3 o'clock. We are on time. Typically we are. Welcome in, happy vibes. So people in YouTube, and I ain't gonna say there's rarely, but typically my YouTube family catches my lives at their convenience. Typically they're not like sitting through the live. Typically they catch the live at their convenience. So if you see me greeting people, YouTube family, I'm greeting the people who is actually in this live on TikTok. All right? So, cool. Just wanted to give y'all understanding. TikTok knows that when I look down, I'm talking to you guys. But I want you guys to know that when I look up, I'm addressing the TikTok people. But let's dive in. Chapter 13. Psychology. Psychology, seat of the soul. All right. Psychology means soul knowledge. Well, that makes a lot of sense why it's my favorite subject. It means the study of the spirit, but it has never been that. Psychology is the study of cognitions, perceptions, and effects. It is the study of the personality. Because psychology is based upon the perceptions of the five sensory personality, it's not able to recognize the soul. It is not able to understand the dynamics that underlie the values and behaviors of the personality. Just as medicine seeks to heal the body without recognizing the energy of the soul that lies behind the health or illness of the body, and therefore cannot heal the soul. Psychology seeks to heal the personality without recognizing the force of the soul that lies behind the configuration and experiences of the personality, and therefore also cannot heal at the level of the soul. In order to develop and nurture your mind and your body, it is necessary to realize that you have a mind and a body. To heal directly at the level of the soul, it is first necessary to acknowledge that you have a soul. If you have a soul, is it a hollowness that mythologically fills your rib cage? No. If then your soul is real and alive with force and beingness, what is its purpose? To develop a healthy and disciplined mind, an intellect that can expand wholesomely and fully into any task requires more than merely recognizing the existence of the mind. It requires understanding how the mind works, what it desires, what strengthens it, what weakens it, and then applying that knowledge in the same way. It is not possible to consciously assist the soul in its evolution merely by recognizing the existence of the soul. It is necessary to understand the soul's temperament, to learn what the soul can tolerate and what it cannot tolerate, what contributes to its health, and what breaks its health down. These things must be looked at. This means for doing this have not, the means rather, for doing this have not been yet developed. Again, I always have to remind people that this book was written in the 90s. So at that point, those things were not developed. However, we are in 2025 and these things, in my opinion, have been developed by doctors such as Dr. Joe Dispenza. There are several other doctors as well that work within that field of psychology who went beneath the surface. Like when I say beneath the surface, tapping into soul knowledge. There's another brother named Dr. Amen, and what these guys, they have gotten into neuroscience. So they're not just coming up with theories, they're actually testing and seeing how our neurotransmitters in our brain operate and work. So there are methods now. Maybe before? No. But now, yes. So that's a good thing. But a lot of people are not aware. A lot of people are not aware. A lot of people are just going day to day, living their lives based on the circumstances and the challenges and opportunities that they have presented to them, not realizing that if they're not satisfied with where they are in life or with what's going on in life, that they can absolutely change that by developing their soul and tapping into, hey Kay, tapping into themselves, their true selves, which is their soul, you know? So that's why I feel that this book is still relevant, because it speaks to a larger community. Yes, a lot of people are waking up. Yes, a lot of people are getting into the way the neurotransmitters of our brains operate. Yes, people are utilizing law of attraction. In reality, law of attraction is simply you rewiring the neurotransmitters in your brain with information that is applicable to what you would like to have in your life, because it's available. If you could think it, it's available. You can have it. Absolutely. I'm a pure witness of it. Okay. All right. So yeah, there are challenges, but you have control over you and you have control over your life. I'm going to continue reading though. It says, we have not created a disciplined and systematic understanding of the soul. Again, this is, hey Dana, thank you for, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. So, again, this is speaking back in the 90s. I disagree. I feel like we do have systems now. It's just opportunities for us to have more systems, because how many people are really familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza? Have you heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dina, or Goddess Egypt? Thank you for the taps. Exactly. So that's why this book is still relevant. Look him up. I wish I could type right now, but that's going to be a little bit too multitasking for me. But I will find him, and I will make sure that I share him, you know, because he's been doing this work for decades. And he is a neuroscientist. So again, he's not just like somebody who's only into spirituality. He has bridged the two. He has bridged how the brain works with the abilities that we have innate as the beings that we are. But I'm reading from the book, so I'm going to continue to read from the book, but I'm also going to share my opinion on what I'm reading from the book. A bunch of this is accurate. And of course, this was written in the 90s. This was absolutely accurate then. So let's continue. It says that we do not understand how our behaviors and activities affect the soul. On a large part, I don't think people do realize. Again, people are just involved in what's happening, what their opportunities are, what's going on in their community, what's going on in their world. They worry about paying bills. They worry about things, and I'm not saying that those things are not important, but a lot of those things they don't have control over. And so there's a frustration within them because they're like, I'm not really doing what my soul is calling me to do. And there's a way to do what your soul is calling you to do and also operate in the society that we exist in. However, please be aware that if it seems like it's falling apart, the society, don't be alarmed because it needs to be better. And in order for it to be better, there needs to be space made for that to happen. And a lot of things that we are seeing that don't make absolutely no sense have been going on for a while in our society. So the fact that those things are now coming to the forefront and we are all aware of it, it's like so clear as day. It's not for us to get worried or to be fearful, but it's for us to seize the opportunity to say, oh, okay, here's an opportunity to apply a solution. And if you feel led to serve in a position of authority or a position of leadership or a position of a political position, then go for it. There are so many grassroots organizations that will support you if that is what your soul is pushing for you to do. And if it's not, that's okay too. Do what you can do, but do what you must do for you. Meaning, be in tune with your soul. Be in tune with your soul. Recognize your soul. Discover how it operates, how it works, and apply that knowledge. So let's continue. When we see the personality in dysfunction, we do not think of what this reveals about the soul. Yet, the personality is specific aspects of the soul reduced to a physical form. Therefore, dysfunctions of the personality cannot be understood without an understanding of the soul. Thank you for your taps and likes. And thank you for the gifts and for coming in and being supportive. The fears, angers, jealousies that deform the personality cannot be understood apart from the karmic circumstances that they serve. When you understand and truly understand that the experiences of your life are necessary to the balancing of the energy of your soul, you are free to not react to them personally, to not create more negative karma for your soul. Pain by itself is merely pain, but the experience of pain coupled with an understanding that the pain serves a worthy purpose is suffering. Suffering is meaningful. Suffering can be endured because there is a reason for it that is worth the effort. What is more worthy of your pain than the evolution of your soul? Well, golly gee, my soul, all right? Yes, I'm glad you feeling free, Dina. That's right. Yeah, I said golly gee. I said that. This is the series where I'm not being as candid, okay? So this is how I'm speaking. Golly gee. It's Soulful Sundays, okay? People be going to church. I don't go to church, but people be coming to church on Sunday, you know? I don't want to be using profanity, you know? But, whoo, let's talk about it, people. Let's talk about it. Evolution of my soul. So that's what was happening. Because when I tell you I was suffering, I was suffering. The last, 72 hours? OMG. When I tell you OMG, OMG. Crying. Just random. Like, that crying. You know, the deep crying. Like, I might be the only one that cry deep like that, but that's a deep cry. It's not a wailing. It's not loud. It is just deep to the soul. And I was just like so. I was hurting. I was hurting, and I was hurting, and I was hurting because yeah, exactly. It was so necessary. I was hurting because I'm even nervous to say it. I'm nervous to say it. But I have grown a very deep, I'm gonna put it like this. I have grown a very deep admiration, right, for an individual. And, um, it's because I have just noticed so much that is, that is just exactly what I was having a private conversation with the divine. Like, it wasn't like, this is a private conversation. I might have written it down, but, I didn't publish this. This was a private conversation, me and divinity. And I was like, I got very specific. I got very specific in what a good sacred partner for me would feel like, and would be like how their mind would work, how their heart would work, how their mannerisms would be, and things of that sort. I didn't get into like their physical, like, oh, they're gonna have, I don't know, blue eyes, and I didn't get into that stuff. I didn't get into the superficial, but I got into the depth, like this is what their soul would look like, and things of that. And then somebody like that, I seen like I didn't even see them one time. Like I've been I've been I've been interacting. I'm looking for the right words. I've been interacting with that person for over or just about a year. Now initially when I got near them and I felt the vibration and I found out that they were partnered with someone at the time, I ran. I was like, I got to get away from this person because I already know me and I already like feel this intense thing. So let me just get away from them and stay away from them because I don't think this is appropriate. But circumstances has literally, this is what it feels like, pushed me back there because random people would be like, oh, did you talk to such and such? And I'd be like, mm-mm. They'd be so confused, like, why? They're so nice. They're so this. They're so that. And I'm like, it's me. It's not them. It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me. I don't want to get attached. I don't want to get attached. I don't want to get attached. But too daggone late. Eventually, I had to go there, and it's the best place to be at because it's a safe space, and I can be me yet grow into a better me. That is what the experience has been. And I'm just like, oh, this is so fucking fantastic. Like, why can't it everything, everything, and I just, it's just everything. So that's why I was very upset and crying and hurting because when I think of the possibility of it evolving into what would be the great sacred union that I desire, right? I feel really good. I feel really happy about it. And I even be getting little, feels like clues from the universe. I'm glad. I feel like we need to exchange phone numbers if I don't have it already so we can talk more about it because there's really nobody I can talk about it to. So that's why I have to come on here and express myself and explain. But I'm not getting off the topic of the soul. It was just like, oh, that was necessary for my soul to evolve. Okay. I'm getting into that pain and that suffering because that pain was really hurtful because for a moment that idea seemed like it wasn't a reality. So when the idea it feels good when I think of the idea again of it evolving into a sacred union. That idea gets me happy. I be dancing. All of dancing videos y'all see. That's the inspiration. But then when the thought that nah, that ain't a reality, when that thought came, oh, it was like a knife. It was like I hear you. Exactly, Dina. Again, we may need to exchange phone numbers so we can talk more about this. Because I be needing to talk to people, and I be needing to talk to people who can relate, you know? Like, I have a few loved ones, you know, but they're single, and they're not even in a space of wanting to come into a sacred union with anybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when I want to talk about, like, oh my God, they're so this and they're so that and they're so I can't have that conversation with them because they're just like whatever. They're like whatever. I'm just like, who can I tell? So anyway, I was suffering. I was crying. I was sad. I was suffering. And then just randomly, like yesterday, for example, I came in, got very upset. I gotta go to the details, but I was very upset. Came in Friday evening, boo hooed, went to bed. Got up, boo hooed. Made some jokes, tried to did my very best in alchemizing my feelings, but I still had to feel them. You know what I mean? It was just I didn't allow myself to get stuck in that negative loop, you know. I spoke very nicely to myself, you know, even though I was hurting and I was crying, and even though parts of me wanted to be like, "Oh, you so silly," and "Oh, you so foolish," and da da da. I was like, "Nope, you are just who you are. When you care genuinely, you care deeply, you have this vision, and the fact that something you seen made it seem as if this vision is impossible now. That's what's hurting to you, you know, but it's still possible." So, you know, I had to like kind of console myself and things of that sort. And I did. And so I went through, that was Friday evening. Saturday got up, like I said, boo-hooed, just randomly. It was like, the boo-hoos were coming so random and it was hurting so bad. And then I got into a better mood and I'm singing. And the next thing I know, I'm singing love songs and I'm just like, oh, and I'm booing again. And then something in my spirit like, just take a nap, just lay down, like just lay down, take a nap. And I did that. I woke up at like 11 p.m. feeling brand new, like, and I was just like, okay, what happened? What the fuck changed, you know? But you know, I had evolved, obviously some, I had grown some, and I had to look at the details and really analyze them. And so now I feel better. And so I communicated with the individual, and I could tell they were very happy about the communication because of the way they expressed themselves. So I was just like, okay, you know, I guess everything's okay. But let's get back to the book. This does not mean that you become a martyr. A martyr? I don't know if I'm saying that. Martyr. I know I'm not saying it right because I know one of these letters are silent. But you know, somebody who's sad all the time. That's basically what this is saying. When you understand that by consciously serving the evolution of your soul, you contribute, hey, honey doodle, you contribute the most that you can to your world. You become one who contributes consciously to the well being and spiritual development of those who share the human learning experience with you. If you are unkind to yourself, you will be unkind to others. And if you are negligent of yourself, you will be that to others. Only by feeling compassion for yourself. Didn't I just say that? Didn't I just say how I had to? Thank you, Bruno. Didn't I just say that? That I was speaking to myself compassionately, right? Girl. Only by feeling compassion for yourself can you feel compassion for others. If you cannot love yourself, you cannot love others. And if you cannot stand to see others loved, you cannot treat your own self kindly. And you will resent that treatment when you see it in anyone else. If you cannot love yourself, loving others becomes a very painful endeavor with only occasional moments of comfort. In other words, loving others or how you treat yourself is your own dose of your own medicine that you really give to others at the same time. Individuals who experience what might be thought of as a, oh, there go that word again, sad person. I know what it means, but how to enunciate it, that's a different thing. Because the Y makes me want to say martyr. Maybe it is martyr. Any hoots. That attitude, right? The sad person, they see themselves as giving all that they have to others. They see this as a form of loving, but in truth, that's like Mother Teresa. In truth, the love that they give is contaminated. Not saying her love was contaminated, you know, but definitely sacrificial. But anyway, because it is so filled with sorrow for themselves. A sense of guilt and powerlessness clouds the energy from their hearts, and so when their affection is felt by another, it does not feel good actually. It feels somewhat thick with need, yet the need is never articulated, so their love feels like cement pulling you. When you can do kindly things to yourself, then you know what it is to be able to love yourself. Then you can look at others who desperately need kindness and love and feel good about their getting it. Not patronizing, but truly good. This is the energy of the soul. This is the perception of the soul. When there is no compassion, when there is guilt, remorse, anger, or sorrow, there's opportunity to heal the soul. What is the relationship of these experiences to a healthy soul and to a soul that is not healthy? What is a healthy soul? A spiritual psychology is necessary to answer these questions. A new discipline of the spirit that is truly of the spirit, that has as its focus the soul of the human being. Human evolution and the evolution of the spirit is matter. In matter, rather, is a very specific evolution. It's not hap, it's not hap, it's not haphazard. It is not chaotic. It is very specific. When certain necessary processes of the maturation of the union of matter and spirit are not honored, the spirit breaks down. Psychologists have attempted to explain these breakdowns in the term of psychology. We can continue to use that language, but let psychology then expand to include a language of the spirit. This will eventually become its first tongue, so to speak. And all psychosis and psychotic breakdown will finally, eventually, be put into its proper language, which is a shattered spirit. That makes a lot of sense. Reincarnation and the role of karma in the development of the soul will be central parts of spiritual psychology. The characteristics of a personality, the qualities that makes one personality different from another, cannot be appreciated without an understanding of the karma that created those characteristics. They cannot always be understood in terms of the history of the personality because they may reflect experiences that predate the personality, in some cases by centuries. At issue, therefore, is not the effects of anger, jealousy, bitterness, sorrow, and so forth upon the personality, but upon the soul. So basically, what that paragraph just broke down and said was some of the conflicts that people may be experiencing within their personal lives now may not be from their current life experience. It can be from previous life experiences that they have had because their soul is still their soul. So the different experiences through the reincarnation of the soul is why. And they may have to dive deeper. They may not be, oh, just a surface thing like, oh, well, this happened in this lifetime. You might be dealing with issues that happened that affected your soul from previous lifetimes. So that some real stuff there. We'll continue. An understanding of each of the personalities, each of the lifetimes of a soul is not necessary. The numerous lifetimes of a soul are not equally central to the development of each of its personalities. But without awareness of the experiences of those lifetimes that bear directly upon the struggles of your personality, you cannot understand the extent of what is being healed through your experiences or seeking to come to a conclusion. If your soul was a Roman centurion, an Indian beggar, a Mexican mother, a nomad boy, a medieval nun, among other incarnations, for example, and if the karmic patterns that were set into motion within those lifetimes are in motion within you, you will not be able to understand your proclivities or interests or ways of responding to different situations without an awareness of the experiences of those lifetimes. It may be that a medieval nun of your soul developed an ability to see an angel. What an extraordinary spiritual achievement. Your non physical teacher will come to you upon those same frequencies of light. She gives to you the fruits of a lifetime of contemplation and struggle and pain and courage. The Roman centurion of your soul is not dead millennia ago. That energy can literally seep into your body and want to hold a modern weapon out of curiosity. So basically, what this book is saying is that a lot of your current desires and um, proclivities that you may have, you may be like, why do I feel like this? Like, I can speak for myself. There's an inner vigilant and also an inner warrior, and it wasn't like because I went to the army. In this lifetime, because I haven't. But I'm very comfortable on an army base. I have been to bases. I'm very comfortable around the military. Like, I don't feel any type of fear or anything. It's I almost feel like a recognition. It's weird, it's odd, but it is what it is. It's my personal experience. Same thing with police. It's just like I don't feel afraid. I feel like it's weird. It's weird. And I know it's a mutual thing because of the way we lock eyes, and the way they speak to me. So, yeah, this book is basically explaining, this particular portion of the book is explaining how there are things in your personality that are affected by previous experiences that you have had. However, the goal of the soul is to evolve. That's the whole purpose, to evolve, to grow, to heal. That's its goal. So, you know, this just is breaking down why some of the things a person may be experiencing, they may not understand it completely. I'm going to go to the next paragraph. Do you dislike certain types of people? Were you drawn to medicine as a child? Are you frightened of small places? Reactions such as these are not always explainable in terms of the experiences of your life. The healing power at the core of psychology is the power of consciousness. Seeking out, facing with courage, and bringing into the light of consciousness that which is unconsciousness, and therefore in a position of power over the personality, is what heals. When that which needs to be made conscious is not recognized to exist, such as the experiences of lifetimes that were lived in other places and at other times, it cannot be healed in that way. Have you left a partner or spouse? Has a spouse or partner left you? It may be that your souls have graciously and with great compassion agreed to enact within this lifetime a situation that they have experienced together in another lifetime or other lifetimes. A situation that still has healing potential for both. It may be that your souls have agreed to a mutual balancing of energy so that one experiences the same painful loss that is inflicted previously upon the other. Experiences such as these are not meant to cause meaningless pain. There is not one act in the universe that is not compassionate. Your parents are the souls to whom you are closest in your lifetime and whose influence upon you is the greatest. This is so even if it doesn't appear that way. Even if, for example, you were separated from your parents or a parent at birth. Your soul and the souls of your parents agreed to your relationship in order to balance the energy that each needed to balance or to activate dynamics within each other that are essential to lessons that each must learn. Without an awareness of your karmic interactions, of the experiences of other lifetimes of your soul, you are not able to understand the depth of the potential awakenings that can result from your interactions with a parent or a sibling. The exploration and understanding of intuition will be a central part of spiritual psychology. Intuition is the voice of the non physical world. It is the communication system that releases the five sensory personality from the limitations of its five sensory system, that permits the multi-sensory personality to be multisensory. It is the connection between the personality and its higher self and its guides and teachers. Psychology does not even recognize the intuition except as a curiosity. Therefore, it does not recognize the knowledge that is obtained through the intuition. And therefore, this knowledge is not processed by the intellect. The five sensory personality processes only the knowledge that it gathers and substantiates through its five senses. The multisensory personality acquires knowledge through its intuition and, in processing that knowledge, aligns itself step by step with its soul. The conscious path to authentic power requires recognition of the non physical dimensions of the human being and of the soul, and a growing knowledge of what the soul is and what it wants. Now, I do thank you. Oh, I see some new people have come in. Thank you for the likes um, here on TikTok. Appreciate you guys. I feel this is just my personal perception and opinion that churches have attempted to explain this. I feel that churches have, and some have been successful in explaining the relevancy of a person's soul and how it is important to acknowledge it. However, earlier in this chapter, as this author expressed, it is not enough just to acknowledge the soul. You know, you have to also understand how it operates, how it works. So you may be feeling things, and even though you don't have anything to tie your feeling to, and sometimes you may have something to tie your inner feelings to, but sometimes you may not, and you may be like, well, why do I feel this way? You know, basically, what we have just read about expresses that you may be feeling that because of an impression that was put onto your soul from another experience. And it's okay for you to acknowledge that you are feeling that way, because when you acknowledge that you are feeling that way, then you allow the opportunity for it to be in the open, which allows for it to be released, allows for you to heal it, and it's not just stuck in there. Because another thing that this chapter expressed is that if you do not acknowledge your soul, you do not acknowledge the things that you may be feeling deeply within yourself, then you can cause the shatterness of your soul. And it doesn't mean like, oh, it's broken and it can't be fixed, but it means if there's a disconnect. That's what I feel they mean when they say the shatterness, you know, and then that disconnect with your personality from your soul is not good. You know, that's where psychosis and psychotic behaviors begin to be exemplified. And that's why they have these different institutions. And then, you know, they got a pill for everything to try to control. But the the solution is not controlling others. The solution is seeing what the root is and dealing with that root, healing that root. That's how you reach a solution that's gonna last. You know, you're not don't want to put a band-aid on a person that has separated from their soul. You know, like they haven't physically separated from their soul, but consciously. Like they're just doing things, they're just in this loop and just doing things and doing things and doing things. And their soul is like, wait a minute, something's not right. Exactly. Exactly, Dita. Exactly. You are supposed to feel your feelings. And you should question your feelings. That's what I do. You know, if I feel away, like I was feeling away, why? Why am I feeling this way? When you ask the right questions, believe it or not, the answers will come to you because there are forces that are way beyond what our five senses may be aware of. There are forces that are around that want to be helpful, but they can't impose upon us. We have to ask, you know, for the help. We have to ask for the guidance. And when we ask for the help and we ask for the guidance, it's there, it's available to us. I'm going to continue. Spirituality will be at the core of spiritual psychology. Spiritual psychology will be oriented towards spirituality, and spiritual crisis will be considered legitimate sufferings. Spiritual psychology will trace and understand the functional relationships between karma, reincarnation, intuition, and spirituality. And that's similar to what our good sister Cherokee does, you know? She's right in this field. Right, exactly in this field, Dina. And you have had a session with her, and I have had a session with her. So we know the relevancy of what this book is explaining right here and right now. Exactly. So it is very relevant and it's very timely, even though this book was written in the 90s and they're like, well, those things didn't exist then. Well, they exist now, you know, and they're coming more and more into existence because this is the time. This is the time for us to evolve and to recognize that there's a bigger part of us that we are connected to. I'm going to continue reading. Spirituality has to do with the immortal process itself. You have your intuition, for example, but your spirituality is not limited to your personality and its intuitional system. Your spirituality encompasses your whole soul's journey, whereas your intuition is the way that your soul can contact your beingness to help it in survival situations or in creative situations or in inspirational situations. It is the way that through your higher self, you can ask and receive assistance from other souls and from your teachers and guides. Your spirituality pertains to that which is immortal rather, within you. Whereas when you leave your body, the intuitional system that was developed for that body will be left behind because it will no longer be necessary. Spiritual psychology is a discipline and systematic study of what is necessary to the health of the soul. It will identify behaviors that operate in opposition to harmony and wholeness, in opposition to the energy of the soul. It will consider the broad reaching elements of negativity and how many forms of negativity there are, and the effects of these upon the soul. Anything that increases separation within a person shatters the soul or in some form diminishes its strength, not to be confused with its immortality. The soul, as it reduces itself to fit into a physical incarnation, has the blueprint of wholesome in it, a genetic spiritual pattern, so to speak, of wholesome is there and present. And when the personality operates outside the genetic pattern of wholesome, dysfunction results. Spiritual psychology will bring to light those situations that will shatter the spirit if seen clearly. Brutality, for example, shatters the human spirit. The soul cannot tolerate brutality. It cannot tolerate abundance of pain and irrationality. It cannot tolerate being lied to. Consider that on our planet. It cannot tolerate non forgiveness. It cannot tolerate jealousies and hatreds. These are contaminants, poisons for it. When the personality engages in these behaviors, it is as though it feeds its body arsenic again and again. It is just like that. These behaviors distort and contaminate and destroy the strength of the soul in the same way. This is the distortness of the soul that the physical reduced counterpart of the soul calls the personality. Take on in order to cleanse, in order to let other souls see that it can be helped. Understanding this dynamic is at the heart of spiritual psychology. It is the foundation upon which spiritual psychology is built, so that when pain is seen, it is not responded to with judgment or ugliness or avoidance, but recognized as the soul being shattered. In this way, we shall say in this circumstance, let us heal him, let us heal her. Let us not run from the unattractiveness of a shattered soul. Thank you for tapping the screen, and thank you for those who have just come in. And this is literally how I live my freaking life. This book may be new in regards to me reading it and sharing it and going into depth, but these ideologies and these ideas are not new to me. This is knowledge that I have acquired over the years, and this is how I approach individuals who may be exemplifying behaviors that are not cool at all. You know, like, oh, they need to fix something within themselves. And I have a little saying, but it's really accurate, that happy, healthy people do not want to cause pain to nobody. Like, happy, healthy people are literally how our world is going to get better. People are like, how's the world going to get better? We don't know. We don't know. By people being healthy. And when I say being healthy, I'm not talking about just eating right and exercising. That's good. That's important. That's health for the body. But there's health for the mental that's necessary. There's also health for the spirit, for the soul that is necessary. So a person to be wholly healthy, they have to be healthy in their mind, they have to be healthy in their spirit, and they have to be healthy in the body. They got to be healthy in all three parts. That's the true Trinity right there. The true Trinity. The true Trinity is not outside of you. The true Trinity is really inside of you. It's your mind, it's your body, it's your spirit / soul. I don't separate the spirit from the soul. To me, those words are interchangeable. You can use spirit to describe your soul. You can use soul to describe your spirit. To me, it's the same word. It's not nothing different. But yes, that's the Trinity. That's the real Trinity right there. Mm-hmm. Likewise, sister, because I have been doing this inner work, this mental work for over a decade, I want to say, or at least a decade. Maybe. Has it been a decade? Maybe it hasn't been a decade yet, but it's close to a decade, which is a lot of time to be doing mental work. You know what I mean? Like internal mental work and healing and soul work. Soul work has definitely been over a decade, but the mental work, maybe close to a decade. So now that I have, achieved some mastery in those first two, now I'm like, okay, I can even, if I don't know, you can see a little bit how I have my charts behind me and stuff on the body, so that I can go deeper and connect deeper, because I have metal inside of my body and I have physicians that wants to chop open my body again, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna try these other things first, I'm gonna try these other things first, and so yeah, I get it. Congratulations to you, Dina. Congratulations. We are in similar path. We are in similar points of our life path. Yes. Um, yeah, keep it up. Keep it up. Now jump back in the book. The personality of a shattered soul is unaware. There's a continual interaction between your personality and your soul. The question is, are you aware of it or are you not? If you are not aware of it, then it is not direct. It is indirect through having to move its currents, that's the energy, through the density of doubt, through the density of unawareness. If you are aware of the guidance from your higher self and are receptive to it, that receptivity allows guidance to flow instantly and immediately. If you are unaware and deny that there is any level of higher wisdom and guidance to your life, then the guidance must come through the density of physical events. Awareness first enters into an unaware personality through crisis. When the personality is not attached to or is apart from clear soul energy, it becomes seduced into the physical matterness of life. That always results in a personality crisis because the necessary strength and guidance that are meant to flow into the personality have been cut off. The personality that is unaware of or denies the existence of its higher sources of wisdom cannot draw upon its guidance or its intuition. One second. YouTube, TikTok is asking me to slide a puzzle piece somewhere. I don't know if it interrupted, but I'm going to get back into where I was at. TikTok, when you on here for a while, they ask you to slide a puzzle piece and connect it. I don't know if you do lives there, you have, I'm pretty sure, encountered that. So let's get back though into the book. We were talking about awareness enter into an unaware personality. So basically, a person who don't know that there is something bigger about themselves, a person who is unaware of how it works, who is consciously disconnected from that wisdom, who is consciously unaware that they have direct, quick access, like whatever it is that's going on in your life, you can get the direct, quick answer to it if you are receptive to your higher self. Your higher self is your soul. It's the biggest part of you. It is, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So you could be like, okay, I'm having this conflict. What's the way to fix it? You know what I'm saying? And the answer will come to you. But if you like, nah, this is just who I am. What I see in the mirror is all it is of me. If that's where your mind is at, then for your soul to make sure that you recognize that it exists, a crisis may occur, or a crisis may occur around you, because then now you have no choice. You have no choice, you have no option but to go to the bigger part of you to figure out how the heck to get out of that crisis that you may be experiencing. So that's what this book is saying right here. That always results in a personality crisis because the necessary strength and guidance that are meant to flow into the personality have been cut off. The personality that is unaware of or denies the existence of its higher sources of wisdom can't draw upon its guidance, its intuition, or any of the guiding mechanisms of our species. Therefore, crisis results. Absolutely. 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 And I'm sure, Dina, that when you get quiet and you allow your mind to just kind of calm down and you get your nervous system in check, that whatever question you need, whatever solution you need to what's going on will come to you in clarity. Because again, we have the ability to tap into our higher selves all the time. All the time. Not just on a Sunday. Every freaking minute and moment of our existence, we have the ability to tap into our higher selves and be like, Exactly. You get it. You get it. And the more of us that get it, the more better things are going to be. We look at others, and we have to be compassionate when we look at others, even when they're doing the most silliest things and the most nonsensical things, such as the guy I'm talking about. I ain't going to say his name. But you know the guy that's living in the White House right now, that guy. He needs to heal. He needs deep healing. He would not be behaving like that, thinking like that, if his mind was healthy, if he was connected. I know people like to joke and say, oh, those people don't have a soul. No, yes, everybody has a soul. They do. They really, really do. And they just may have disconnected from it. But a disconnection doesn't mean that you got rid of it. It's still there. His soul is probably like, please sit down and meditate. Just meditate. Just please. Please. And that's why things are so chaotic around him and why he is behaving in the way that he's behaving. Because he's disconnected. For real. For real, for real. That is really the answer with everybody. In anybody, not just him. He just happens to be in a position of authority. But that is the case across the board. Globally. Like, not just him, girl. Everybody like that. Mm-hmm. And I know that when an individual has been affected directly by other individuals who are unhealed and they have inflicted pain upon them, oh, it's hard. It's not easy to just be like, oh, I forgive you. Oh, I hope you heal. Oh, no. That's some G shit right there. Okay. Oh, I cussed. See, I done got profane. I done got profane. I done used some profanity. Um, it's not an easy task. With practice, it is easier, but it's still, I don't think it's ever an easy task for us to experience the pain from somebody who's unhealed and for you just to be like, okay, I forgive you. You have to be like, wait a minute, okay, first of all, I appreciate that. Second of all, let me establish a boundary so that you ain't able to do that shit again to me. I use profanity again. Bear with me, people. And then once you have been loving to yourself by establishing boundaries, by maybe perhaps even stepping back from that individual, then you can offer that forgiveness and that compassion and say, okay, they just need to heal in this space, but I'm going to keep these boundaries up. And you know what I mean? And so they have shown me that they have healed in those spaces because I don't want to get hurt because they're hurting within themselves. If that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Well, makes sense to me. That's what I apply in my life. So I'm going to get back in the book. Was it meant that crisis be central to our growth? Nope. This pattern evolved through the choices that were made by our species. Yeah, they have to, they have hatred within them because they are disconnected. Again, a person who is healthy is not hating. But when a person is disconnected, you understand, because of whatever their soul may have experienced. And their personality may be like, oh, I'm not going to listen to this intuition. I'm not going to listen to this. I'm just going to listen to what I'm hearing. Yeah. Everybody has the ability to heal. Everybody has the ability to heal. And once they are aware of it, it's possible. It is absolutely possible. And I would love to see it. I really would love to see it, especially in that individual who is going through that inner turmoil that's in that authoritative position. Again, they're one of many. They're not the only person in an authoritative position that is unhealed and hurting within themselves, but their ego won't allow them to say, damn, I'm hurt. But we know. We know the backstory. We know the abuse that person went through, the abuse that was imposed on them from their father, We don't know exactly how the mother treated them, but they were abused. You know what I mean? They were not born into the world. No baby comes into the world with hate. Baby comes into the world with curiosity, and whatever is around that baby is what's going to develop and grow as that person grows into their adulthood. And that's the reality of it. Let me get back to the book though. Um, the pattern. So what it's saying basically is crisis is not central to our growth, but the reason why it's in the human experience is because it evolved through the choices that was made by our species. The flow of our evolution did not have to include this pattern of crisis. It did not have to include the experiences of pain and trauma, of emotional or physical violence and brutality rather, in order to grow. It was given in divine order that our species would move into wholeness at some point in its evolution. How it moved and learned in the course of its evolution was left to be determined by the choices that our species made of how to maneuver energy within the Earth School. Doubt was created and chosen as the major teacher through human choice itself. Our species chose this way of learning and therefore set karmic patterns into motion, generational karmic patterns. As our species evolved, as it experienced its spectrum of fears, its spectrums of desires, its spectrums of attachments to the physical, collectively and individually, certain choices began to characterize and form the path that would be most familiar to us. Awakening into the need to touch something more, to touch one's own spiritual energy system, is now a well worn path that includes the experience of becoming physically powerless in relation to the structure of the earth school before the soul will reach for genuine power. In other words, the awakening of the personality to the potential of the soul has come to require the loss of a mate, or the death of a child, or the collapse of a business, or some situation that renders the individual powerless. Hey, Celia. It requires the failure of external power, that is, to the five sensory personality crisis. So, I have experienced all of those things. I have lost my first husband, not that he was a great husband, but that was a loss. That had to deal with grief. That was a crisis. The death of a child, I have dealt with. That was a crisis. The collapse of a business, I've dealt with. That was a crisis. Being displaced, not having a roof over my head, that was a crisis. So yeah, I have been through, I don't even know how many, but a lot, a lot of crises to be as tapped in as I am right now. Because again, there was no options. There was no one to call for a solution. There was no one to fix it. It was straight. I got to go straight to source. Straight. I have to go within. I have to go straight to source. And that is the only way I'm able to sit here. I'm smiling. I'm great. Exactly, girl. And joyful and hopeful and excited. Because I know that this, and I'm going to get to the sacred union thing again, you know what I mean? But I know that the sacred union is going to allow even more evolution, you know what I mean? Because of the growth and the healing, I know, and for both of us, you know what I mean? So I'm excited because I'm like, ooh, we about to both really like grow, grow. We've, we're both pretty developed, but it's a good opportunity, that's what relationships, that's the big purpose of relationships, because people are able to grow within their relationships because you have somebody that's mirroring you to you, and likewise you are a mirror to them, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when both of you are happy and healthy within yourselves already. And even if you haven't dealt with certain things, you're forced to deal with those things within yourself. Exactly. Exactly. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I really am grateful. Um, where am I at? In other words, okay, we got to that part. Spiritual psychology addresses this situation by addressing directly the issue of authentic power. It is timely because it comes at a time when, excuse me, that was a good old burp. It comes at a time, uh, when our species is evolving beyond the five sensory personality, beyond learning through just the five sensory exploration of the physical world, which is external power, and into the experiences of the multisensory personality, the experiences of the non physical world, and the conscious journey towards authentic power through responsible choices with the assistance of non-physical guides and teachers. And then we have gotten some, you have that my burp. And then we have gotten some more. Look at Asada. Asada, I don't know if you're familiar with Asada, Dina. Asada, I believe, is Tupac's mother. And she stood up for herself and to injustice and got her behind to Cuba, where she spent the rest of her days peacefully and still teaching over there. And she just joined the ancestors, and a lot of great wise people have recently joined the ancestors. And do you know what that means for us who are still in these physical forms? We have direct access to seek wisdom from these individuals and to seek knowledge from these individuals. Direct access. Exactly. So, it's a good time. It's a good time to be alive. It's a good time. The personality, including the five sensory personality, is neither positive or negative. It is a tool of the soul, a natural part of incarnation. The development of the five senses was a celebration in which the intellect was expanded and our species was allowed to learn through physical matter. The quest for external power came to be generated by insecurity, not because of the limitations of the five sensory personality, but because of the choices that were made by our species to learn through fear and doubt instead of through wisdom. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good learning through wisdom. That's my choice, okay? That's my personal choice to learn is through wisdom. Not that other stuff. I'm good. Our species is again being given the chance to choose how it will learn, how it will evolve. This is a time for us as a species and as individuals to choose again. It is an opportunity for us as a species and as individuals to choose differently, to choose otherwise, to choose this time to learn love through wisdom, to take the vertical path of clarity, of conscious growth and conscious life. We are coming to the end of a phase of evolution that was written long before we existed. When the learning and evolution of our species was designed, it was designed to complement cycles, great cycles that work within the universe, within our galaxy, and within others. These cycles move within physical form at certain speeds, serving certain purposes and balances of energies. The cycle that we are ending and therefore beginning of a new cycle. Hey, that's right. That's right. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Beyond it. I love it. I love that wording. And it's a new cycle. And it's exciting. It's so exciting. Um, the cycle that we are ending and therefore beginning is of a moment in which three cycles come to a conclusion and begin again. These cycles act one inside of the other, just as the moon orbits the earth, which orbits the sun, and there are orbits within orbits. So, too, there are cycles within cycles. We are coming to the close of a grand cycle astrologically, a 2,000 year cycle, and an even grander cycle where a 25,000 year cycle is linking with the conclusion of a 125,000 year cycle. That is why these things within this moment in our evolution are happening now. This is when they were meant to be. The negativity of the last 2,000 year cycle is being collected. So now it can be discharged and transformed so that the next cycle of 2,000 years, which starts with the next beginning cycle of 25,000 years and the next beginning cycle of 125,000 years, all three simultaneously can begin fresh. This is what this present situation and moment upon our earth is about. The birth. Oh, any mamas out there? We know what birth feels like, right? Oh, it's a push. It's a push. We are pushing. All of the light workers, all of the lovers, we are pushing. We are pushing, pushing, pushing. Because we are at the beginning of 3 new cycles. I didn't even know it was at the beginning of 3 new cycles. I was only aware, I believe, of the 25,000 one, because I believe that is the one where it goes, we're in the Aquarian age. So we're already at the beginning of that. So again, this was written in the 90s, people. So the new, to me, is already here. These 3 cycles that they're talking about is already here. But guess what? It's a baby. It got to be nurtured. It's got to be loved. It's got to grow and flourish. So I be so happy. You don't know the joy I have in my soul when I come onto my social media platforms and I'm scrolling and I see so many people talking about spirituality, so many people talking about the aspects of the soul, so many people reminding each other that we have so much power and that we are able to control our lives. Like, that is pure joy to me. Pure joy. You go on, you find meditations on YouTube. There are tens and thousands, sometimes 100,000 people that are tapped into meditating and quieting down their minds. Yes, Dina, we are. And for people to be aware of it and to be utilizing their power for good, it's a phenomenal time to be on this freaking planet and to experience it and be a part of it. You know what I mean? It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. Just a positive post, or even not even a positive post, just a positive thought towards your fellow human being, towards your neighbor, towards the people you interact with when you go food shopping, towards the gas attendant. Just those things matter. Those things are powerful. Having a positive thought towards those individuals, having positive interactions with those individuals, powerful. Powerful. Nurturing our new cycles. This is what this present situation and moment upon our earth is about. The birth of a very different opportunities to release patterns that are no longer necessary. The more light, literally, the more enlightened that you are, the more you will choose different ways. Spiritual psychology will support the choice to learn through wisdom, the choice to release patterns of negativity, of doubt, and of fear that are no longer appropriate to who we are and what we are becoming. It will make clear the relationship between the personality and the soul, the differences between them and how to recognize those differences. It will make explicit the effects of interactions between personalities from the perspective of the impersonal energy dynamics that they set into motion. And it will show how these dynamics can be used to heal. We are finally got to the end of that chapter. So I'm going to put my little place mark in. We will be back next Sunday. I don't know why I said we. Like I have a whole production team, right? Um, I'll be back. Maybe it is a we. Maybe though some of those forces are utilizing me to communicate. I don't know. It's possible. It could be not just my soul communicating with you, but other souls. It's like, okay. We got an open network right here. Let's talk to the humans. Thank you, Dina. I'm so glad that you enjoyed listening. And I also have an ebook. I don't know if you have checked it out yet, but I have an ebook. And you just click the link in my bio. But it's been a pleasure. I love coming on and doing this. And if you have subscribed to my channel, the SupaTea Podcast on YouTube, I've started 2 new series. So Soulful Sundays was the first one. We just had our 13th week anniversary. Woo! And I started another one called Let's Talk About It. I'm very more candid there. I'm still deciding whether it's going to be Monday or Tuesday when I do that live. And then I have a new series called Weekly Meditations. So I have published all 3 on my YouTube channel, and you can check them out there. But thank you so much for tuning in. Yes. I appreciate the love and the hearts and the company. And yes. If you, thank you so much. And if Dina, because I know I was mentioning my particular journey right now with my sacred union. If you are in a similar space and you want to talk about that, then I'm definitely open to talking about that more. You just DM me and we'll elaborate more on that particular part of our life journey. But again, I want to thank you all for tuning in and have a wonderful Sunday. And until next time, I'll be right back here, 3 p.m. sharp next Sunday. I don't know what time zone you in, but I'm 3 p.m. sharp Eastern Standard Time. So come back out next Sunday and hang out with me. Thank you for tuning into the SupaTea Podcast Show. Thank you for all your feedback and sharing with everybody. I appreciate that, Dina. Have a good one. And I appreciate you guys too in YouTube land. I know I was looking more at the camera up above. But y'all heard me. Cheers. Have a good one. Link will be in the bio for my ebook and everything. They can give me a little song and stuff over there.